This is WWE Wrestling Legend Hall of Famer Tito Santana.
This is WWE NXT Superstar Lexis King.
And you are listening to the Source Wrestling Podcast. Arriba!
And you're listening to the Source Wrestling Podcast. Long live Lexis King.
You're looking at the best there
Austin
is.
316.
What do you guys want to talk about? I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest. I'm the best. I'm the best in the world.
Let me talk to you. Yeah.
We will rest in peace.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. This is episode 32 of The Source, WWE, AEW, All Things Wrestling Podcast with Joe
and
Mike. Yeah. And on today's episode, we are going to give you lightning coverage of a couple of shows, and we are going to dig a little deeper into some others. So today we are going to be covering WWE Friday Night Smackdown 4/19/24. We are going to be covering AEW Rampage and Collision 4/20/24, and we are going to end it all with AEW Dynasty 4/21/24, AEW's possibly best pay-per-view yet, in my opinion. So we will start the show, guys, and thanks for tuning in to the Source Wrestling Podcast. Yeah, and we start off today's show with coverage of WWE Friday Night Smackdown 4/19/24 from the PPG Paints Arena in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Big implications here. The first match of the night is a number one contendership match.
Yes, sir.
For the undisputed WWE Championship. A chance to go against the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, our champion, at Backlash, which is coming up very soon in France, and it's LA Knight, versus the phenomenal one, AJ Styles, and a phenomenal match it was.
What a way to start it off.
Absolutely,
honestly.
yeah.
What a way to start it off.
Way to start this show. SmackDown starts on a heavy note. It is a brawl between AJ Styles and LA Knight. We get a WrestleMania rematch on a SmackDown for number one contendership here. And, when this match was announced, we were kind of talking about it. We were saying, it's got to kind of go one way, and we understand why it did. Match, it was really, really good. Both guys shined, hit their signature stuff. It ended up being AJ Styles, though, with a poke to the eyes while the ref had his back turned, and hitting that phenomenal forearm to pick up the victory against LA Knight. And LA Knight is not destined for undisputed WWE title shot. It will be the phenomenal AJ Styles. And it makes sense because you cannot have a babyface like the American Nightmare go up against a guy like LA Knight. Also, major babyface. I feel like it wouldn't work as well as the old traditional face versus heel. Here we have AJ Styles picking up the win. He is going into Backlash to face the American Nightmare for the undisputed WWE Championship.
Let's go. Breaking news before we start. Finn Balor has signed a multi-year deal with the WWE. And you heard it here, right? On
the Source. Yes, Finn Balor has inked a new deal with WWE. He actually put up an Instagram post that was kind of concerning at first. It was like, thank you, WWE, for 10 amazing years. I've been giving this a lot of thought. And on that note, I've inked another deal. It was kind of seeming like, I'm going to go the other way. But he did ink this deal with WWE. I think he's been presented very well as one of the high-octane members of the Judgment Day. Yeah. He's been dripping in gold, and I think he's honestly good to go with his spot. Breaking news from the Source Wrestling Podcast. You heard it here. Continuing on Friday Night SmackDown, after this match, we have another one of these QR codes flashed as Triple H was making his entrance down to the ring. Paul Triple H Levesque, our savior, was making his way down to the ring, and we will talk about these QR codes a little more in depth in another episode, but they're really interesting. If you actually find the link and decode it and go on, guys, go do that. We're starting to think it might be a Wyatt family comeback. We can't jump the gun here, but it's kind of what it's looking like. next up here, we have an amazing segment. It is Triple H in the ring with SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis, and they're once again speaking on this new era and how it was the greatest WrestleMania of all time. This is such a new thing, new era. We have new tag team champions, and we think that these guys as well should be dripping in some brand new gold. So once again, we have a table in the middle of the ring with some kind of blanket covering. What looks like two brand new championships.
Yep, we know.
Just like on Raw.
We know what's going to happen because they did it the same way they did Raw.
Exactly.
So obviously we already know what's about to happen. We just don't know what they're going to look like
Yes,
yet.
exactly. And we've been dying to know. We saw the World Tag Team Championships, and that's a really fresh, cool design. But these ones don't look completely circular. They look different. So they bring out the new tag team champions, A-Town Down Under, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, who are looking like the biggest douchebags in America.
They act like it too, and they
absolutely
offend
do.
everybody, and they're actually like, "You want me to take these titles away?" kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Right. They come up flashing the penny titles. And Triple H unveils what is quite possibly one of my favorite tag team title designs from the 98 to 02 tag team era, with that shape brought into a brand new design. The WWE Tag Team Championships, brand new belts, beautiful, like them much more than the World Tag Team Championships, which I do like, but these just have that old school vintage belt feel. They are presented with these new titles, and Triple H, Paul Triple H,
they seem like some actual belts to hold. You know what I mean? Where the other ones were kind of
like a
little
toy.
Like something you'd buy at the store.
Exactly, like something you'd take your kid to Walmart. Hey, look, there's a toy belt.
I'm sure they were worth a lot, but
I was never a fan of those penny titles. I will make it clear any chance I get. But needless to say, we have brand new tag team championships, the WWE Tag Team Championships, one of my favorite designs of all time. They knocked it out of the park with these belts. Triple H extends a hand to the new champions. They blow them off. Being the douchebags that they are, A-Town Down Under. And Nick Aldis gets in Theory's face and Waller as well. And he says, you do that again, you're going to have to deal with me. We don't disrespect Paul Triple H Levesque around here, around these parts.
No, sir.
And now that we've issued these brand new, beautiful WWE Tag Team Championships, what better way to continue the show is to find a brand new number one contending team for these WWE Tag Team Championships. And we are hit with a fatal four-way tag team match. It is the Street Profits with Bobby Lashley and B-Fab versus the Authors of Pain with the Final Testament versus Legado del Fantasma versus the New Catch Republic in a fatal four-way tag match. And this match was very entertaining, was off the charts, especially for a SmackDown match. We don't get a lot of fatal four-way anything. A lot of teams here had many chances at the tag titles and failed. Kind of makes you think about who they're giving tag team opportunities to here. A team like New Catch Republic, who has had multiple tag team championship matches and just lost every single time. Needless to say, Montez Ford looking real good. Towards the end here, he responds with a big frog splash that leads to AD tagging himself into the match. The Street Profits connect with the Revelation to pick up the victory, and your new number one contenders for these brand new WWE Championship belts, the Tag Team Championships, is the Street Profits.
And I like that because
I do too.
I've been honestly wanting them to elevate them a little bit.
They needed to,
because they're very, very good.
They're a good team.
And I like the faction with Bobby Lashley, and I feel like, right as we were getting, that popping a little bit, we had the Final Testament pop up and kind of ruin the spotlight for him a little bit.
They derailed them.
This gets the pride back on track.
It does. They're number one contenders now.
Yeah, and we don't, New Catch Republic is cool, but it's just a
great wrestlers.
Let's be real. I'm the one that's always going to tell it like it is, and I'm just saying, that's a team you put together because you don't know what to do with the two people.
Thank you. Yep.
You know what I mean?
Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne.
What are you doing with them?
We don't know what to do with them.
Sheamus is back. It's a good time to break them up, maybe. Put Sheamus back with...
but Sheamus never needed that, too, so... You also have that argument as well.
I was a fan of the Brawling Brutes.
I liked them.
And the whole faction of it. Those
the
three
whole
were
fight
very
night
good
thing
together.
was cool. Yeah, it was
those
definitely
three were very
cool.
good together.
I agree.
And I think that's where that belongs. I think they had to break it up because Sheamus went away.
Yeah,
but
right.
Now that he's back, I think you bring the Brawling Brutes back together.
I wouldn't be opposed to it.
I think it happens at some point.
I would just put Pete Dunne back in as Pete Dunne and not Butch because I don't like the Butch thing. Up next on the show, Byron Saxton had a backstage interview with WWE Women's Champion Bayley. Where is her mindset heading into this main event match after seeing Rhea drop the title? It's making her appreciate this title so much more, she says. She's focused. She's the only WWE Women's Champion right now, and she doesn't take that for granted, she says. And she's excited to face Naomi, but the result will remain the same. She says they are good friends, but nothing's going to change heading into the draft.
No, sir.
Up next, we have a backstage segment with the wise man, Paul Heyman, and Solo Sikoa. Paul Heyman's basically saying, listen, I'm sorry that I can't find Kevin Owens. All right, I know you're looking for Kevin Owens. I can't find him, but he's got to be here somewhere. For a big guy, he seems to be pretty good at hiding.
Yeah, it seems like Paul's all scared. And,
he's terrified. He's got to be somewhere in the locker room. I'm not trying to piss you off, Solo. Believe me, the last person on the planet, he says, he wants to piss off is Solo.
No, we're trying to figure out if Solo's really the one.
It looks like he's the acting tribal chief. He's wearing a suit now.
If secretly he's getting orders from Roman Reigns,
right?
And Paul isn't. Maybe Roman Reigns is in on getting rid of Paul.
Exactly.
I don't know. There's a lot of ways this can go.
A lot of ways.
Which is really cool.
And,
I like how they're keeping it going.
Me too. And Paul Heyman finishes by saying, respectfully, Solo, you're making decisions that aren't yours to make yet. He's saying one day these will be your exclusive decisions to make, but right now it's not here, not now. He goes, those decisions can only be made by one man. And we all know who he is referring to.
And he just says, are you done talking?
Are you done yet? Are you?
Right.
And
he does not care about anything to do with the tribal chief right now.
He's going rogue at this point. Paul Heyman then comes out. We get a Paul Heyman and the Bloodline type segment, and you get the ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, so on and so forth. He says he doesn't know if there is a list of the most brilliant backstage maneuvering politicians in the history of WWE, but if there were such a list, he says he's got to be on the top of it. And, I'm going to have to agree. He says...
which is interesting that he mentioned that.
Right. And he says, with Solo's permission to explain to you the backstage politics that's it's taking place right now in the Bloodline, he goes, the history of the WWE, the premier act in the history of the WWE is the Bloodline. And ladies and gentlemen, I assure you, as the wise man for your tribal chief, and after he's about to dig into something, Solo just snatches the mic from him, and he's pissed. He's really upset at this point. Solo's like, last week, I had to lose a brother in order for me to find a new one, my MFT, Tama Tonga, son of Haku, and his MFT, he says. And this MFT term really hasn't
Not
been
sure on it.
Yeah, it really hasn't been brought to light exactly what it is. Via Sportskeeda, we are seeing My Family Tree seems to be the making the most sense due to the blood connection of the Samoans and Tama Tonga. Also, this isn't the first time when the company has mentioned the Samoan family tree. Back during the WrestleMania 40 kickoff press event, The Rock also mentioned the family tree of the Samoan family. So it could mean that it has not been disclosed yet what MFT really means. Needless to say, we then see a bloody KO, bloody Kevin Owens. He's bleeding like a pig, flying out of the curtain. Tama attacked Kevin Owens in the backstage area, obviously. The referees are helping KO get back on his feet, and Solo and Tama, they're putting their ones in the air, and Owens just refusing the medical attention. He pulls Tama Tonga out of the ring. He looks like he's half dead, and he's just teeing off on him. And, that's KO. Fight Owens, fight, 100%. Solo then drives Kevin Owens face first into the steel ring steps. He rolls Owens back into the ring. Owens is not giving up, though. He hits this double leg takedown, transitions into a ground and pound. There's security everywhere trying to stop the melee and intervene, and Solo nails KO with a Samoan spike. And Tama Tonga, still getting used to saying that, Tama Tonga snaps on Owens and the security guards, and Nick Aldis is scolding Paul Heyman. What are you doing? All hell is breaking loose. Tama Tonga grabs a steel chair, and Aldis stops him in his tracks. Solo throws the chair out of the ring, and the Bloodline poses on the stage to close the segment out. And after the commercial break, we see SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis bringing Paul Heyman into the parking lot area, and he's asking Paul if he knew that Tama Tonga was going to attack KO with his car. It's just a car wreck, and it's their rental cars. All this is saying that they settle issues in the ring, not like this. So next week it's the draft, and he says he won't tolerate this type of savage behavior. He wants Heyman to make sure that the Bloodline understands the rules here, and if they don't, the repercussions will be equally bad, is what he's saying.
Yes, sir.
Losing is not the only thing that has consequences, he says. And that brings us right to the third match of the night. It is Santos Escobar with Elektra Lopez versus Carlito with the LWO. A back and forth match here. Could have really gone either way. Escobar then connects with the Phantom Driver at the end of it all to pick up the victory. Carlito is looking weaker and weaker. The LWO is looking weaker and weaker, and it's not looking good at all. We now see Kayla Braxton conducting an interview with Damage Control members in one of the luxury boxes inside the PPG Paints Arena. What made them want to have a special seat for tonight's main event is what they're being asked. And Dakota Kai, who's got to be, labeled as the new leader of Damage Control, is, she's confused that Kayla even referred to Io as a former champion. She says that Io will get her title back when she's ready and cleared to compete. They're saying they're here to watch two people they can't stand tear each other apart. That's why they're up there in this luxury box. And does Dakota have to remind Kayla in the WWE universe that Damage Control is the most dominant force in the WWE, she says.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Doubt it. Yeah. She says the Kabuki Warriors are still your WWE Women's Tag Champs, and that's not going to change. And just as this happens, one hell of a tag team shows up in the luxury box right next to them. It is Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, the EST. They show up in their own luxury box to watch this match, and that's definitely going to shake things up a bit. And up next, before our main event match, we cut to a promo of the American Nightmare, our WWE Undisputed Champion, at a WWE live event in London with 16,410 people at a house show. That is unbelievable for this day and age in wrestling. And it is. And he's acknowledging that AJ Styles has won this number one contendership match. He's saying he's ready for the challenge, and he's also saying that he doesn't miss as well, just like AJ doesn't. And he says, Backlash, I'm looking forward to it. And that brings us to the main event match of the evening. Already, we are there. We got a lot to cover, so, we just got to keep it moving. It is the main event of SmackDown for the WWE Women's Championship. It is champion Bayley versus the challenger Naomi. And this match was very fast, very high octane from the two. We had a Bayley to belly on the outside announce table. Naomi was really looking good, too, hitting on all cylinders. And unfortunately, towards the end, this match kind of gets thrown away because out of nowhere, look at your clocks, guys, it is Tiffy time. Tiffany Stratton attacks Bayley from behind, which forces the DQ. Your winner of this match by disqualification and still WWE Women's Champion is Bayley. Naomi, you kind of feel bad for her. She did not get her shot. It was a good match, but
honestly, Bayley hasn't really been the most exciting champion for me either. It was exciting in the beginning.
It was exciting watching her
win.
Now
that we're here, it's like
you don't want it to fizzle out.
With it? Yeah.
Right. And I like how they're inserting Tiffany Stratton right into this title picture because she can go, man. She's looked so impressive, since her debuts, NXT Superstar of the Year, the list goes on. Beautiful Elimination Chamber debut. Everything has been going clockwise for a Tiffy time, if you will. And she ruins this match, and she connects with the double PME, the prettiest moonsault ever on both of them.
She did.
Really
she came out and really,
making a statement here.
Yeah, made some statements there.
What's the time? Tiffy time, yeah. She stands tall over Bayley and Naomi as the show goes off air with her friends looking up in the luxury box. The big three is probably not going to be happy with Tiffy time, and that is going to end this coverage of WWE Smackdown. We hope you enjoyed it as we transition to the double header lightning round of WWE Rampage and Collision. Follow me, guys, as we start the coverage now. And we move on to the AEW Rampage portion of the show. It is AEW Rampage for 2024 live from the Peoria Event Center in Peoria, Illinois. And we begin with an elimination four-way match. It is Isaiah Cassidy, Lee Johnson, Commander, and a 420 special for everybody. It is the whole effing show, Rob Van Dam. And it was pretty awesome to see him. Obviously, you cannot have a 420 event, a 420 wrestling event, and matches without the 420 guy himself, Rob Van Dam, who takes a win in this match after hitting the 5-star frog splash on Commander, who was the last one left in the ring after everyone else was eliminated. Your winner of the four-way elimination match is Rob Van Dam. Match number 2 of this episode of Rampage, it is Yuka Sakazaki versus Emi Sakura. And pretty entertaining here. We had Yuka grabbing the waist lock and deadlifting Sakura into a German suplex. That gets the 3 here. Your winner of this match, Yuka Sakazaki. And after this, we have some footage shown from after Dynamite as Angelo Parker, the cool hand, hits the ring. Parker said he's lost a lot this year, friends, mentors, his girl, etc. And he's basically teasing retirement at this point. But Ruby's music hits. She comes out. She's in tears. She's like, listen, Angelo, you have something else to fight for. You have something much more to fight for. And she announces her pregnancy. Ruby Soho, pregnant with the child of Cool Hand, Angelo Parker. And he has a whole nother reason to fight now, ladies and gentlemen. So I guess he's not going to retire here. Congrats to the lucky couple for sure. Match number 3 in this lightning coverage of AEW Rampage. It is Kyle O'Reilly, Rocky Romero, and Matt Maynard versus the Undisputed Kingdom in this main event match. They definitely stepped up the tempo here. Pretty good speed here in this match. And your winners are the team of Kyle O'Reilly, Matt Maynard, and Rocky Romero by way of Kyle O'Reilly armbar. And that is going to end our lightning coverage of AEW Rampage. All in all, a pretty good, high-paced, basically action-packed show leading up to Collision, which we will transition into now. It is time for AEW Collision. It was a special night where Rampage went on live following Collision. Haven't done that in a while, so that's cool. It is AEW Collision now, the go-home show for AEW Dynasty. This is for 2024 live from the Peoria Civic Center in Peoria, Illinois. And we start off tonight's action-packed episode of Collision, and it was action-packed with a trios match. It is the Rated R Superstar Adam Copeland, Mad King Eddie Kingston, and Mark Briscoe himself versus Top Flight and Action Andretti. Very good, high-paced match here as well. Copeland is out there hanging with the young guys. You can tell he's having a lot of fun out there. Saw a lot of good spots here. We saw a J Driller towards the end from Briscoe. Andretti getting caught with a combo that ends with the Froggy Bow by Mark Briscoe that gets the team the win. Your winners via pinfall after that Froggy Bow are the Rated R Superstar Adam Copeland Eddie Kingston, and Mark Briscoe. And we had all 6 men showing a sign of respect after this match, and it showed because it was really, really well done. But the moment's cut short, unfortunately, by a video from the House of Black, who warn their Dynasty opponents that their hopes will be destroyed tomorrow night at the Dynasty pay-per-view. Malachi Black reaches out to Adam Copeland, talking about making him wonder if he'll be close to hell, because for men like them, hell is where the heart is. And we cut to a confused and concerned Adam Copeland as this match and segment ends in a very interesting start to Collision. Let's go, guys. Second match of the night. It is CJ Esparza versus Powerhouse Will Hobbs from the Don Callis family. And this is just a Goldberg-esque, Wardlow-esque squash match, guys. Not much to yap about here. We had a quick torture rack from the Powerhouse, and that is going to end this match by submission. Your winner, Powerhouse Hobbs, with the torture rack. And after this match, Don Callis himself cuts a promo, trying not to get drowned out from the boos of the crowd. And he's talking about this bunkhouse brawl that happens later on in this episode of Collision. And that's an interesting one as well. He's also talking about Powerhouse's match with John Moxley coming up on this week's Dynamite as well for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Next up now, we have a commercial break, and after this we get backstage again with Jericho. He's apologizing for his behavior on Wednesday, addressing the match for the FTW title at Dynasty. He says the learning tree is going to teach some hard lessons this Sunday, as well as some life lessons also, and it's going to hurt Jericho a lot more than it's going to hurt Hook, he says. Up next, we have the Acclaimed versus Austin and Colton Gunn, the Ass Boys versus the Scissor Gang, if you will. And this match started with chaos right as the entrances were happening. It did not take long here for this match to get going. Unfortunately, it ends a way that we don't want it to. It ends with a sneaky pin combination and some help from Switchblade Jay White, of course, by the Guns to get the win over these guys. And your winners are the Guns, and they quickly retreat up the ramp, promising to be the unified tag champs, trios champs rather, after Dynasty is set in stone. Next up, we have a backstage segment. It is Lexi Nair talking to the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, about the Bunkhouse Brawl match that's coming up tonight on this episode of Collision, ahead of his match against Will Ospreay, the biggest match, that we have seen in quite a while in the wrestling world. And she's also asking him about clearing the air with his involvement with Don Callis, and he tells Bryan he's got nothing to do with all of the funky stuff that has gone down, if you will. But Danielson has his doubts, obviously, before walking off. And that leads us to the next segment. We have Claudio Castagnoli and Daniel Bryan Danielson making their way down to the ring for the next match, the Bunkhouse Brawl. And it was actually interrupted by Konosuke Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher, their opponents. They get the jump on them as this match gets underway here. And this match really went above and beyond for not even a main event match on Collision. It was very entertaining, and there were lots of big spots here that we could talk about. Takeshita looked great. Fletcher looked great. I haven't seen much of him yet, but if he's a friend of Will Ospreay's, he's a friend of mine. He's really looking good out there in the ring, and it shows. Needless to say, end of this match, we all know, kind of what it would come to, and the experience won here over the speed and the new blood. We have your winners, Bryan Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli, the BCC, winning this match with a label lock on Kyle Fletcher with a chain, some kind of metal link chain. It looked brutal. It looked amazing, and it made Bryan Danielson look very, very strong on his way to Dynasty. And after the match, he even cuts a promo on the mic addressing why he took on this match before this big match at Dynasty by saying that when he dies, his heaven will be standing in this ring shedding blood for what he loves. And those are chilling words coming from the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. And he then promises Will Ospreay that he's going to beat him at Dynasty. So, we're just going to have to wait and see about that, brothers. bruv. And the next match of the night features legit Layla Hirsch versus Sky Blue, who I'm really enjoying watching in a wrestling ring lately. She's been doing great. Ends up going her way to my own satisfaction, hitting a TKO followed by locking in the Dragon Sleeper on legit Layla, who did put up a hell of a fight, but your winner via submission is Sky Blue. And it's main event time, guys. This is a trios match between Kazuchika Okada, the Rainmaker, and the Young Bucks, the New Elite, versus the Bastard, Pac, and those living legends, those top guys. It's FTR, Dash, and Dax, and what a trios match we had here. This was really, really good wrestling out of everybody for sure. Okada had his moments, along with the Bastard, Pac, who was just on fire since returning here in AEW. Really, really liking the direction that he's going in. Like that he's using the Rings of Saturn on Okada, the Continental Champion, ahead of their match. Going to be interesting to see what happens there. And this match just continues at a high pace. It looks really, really good. And Pac is getting hit with a near fall after near fall, followed by an EVP trigger, only for Wheeler to break up the pin and then hit the Shatter Machine on Matthew of the Young Bucks. But the Rainmaker brings Dax out of the ring for a super kick by Nick Jackson and a DDT from the Rainmaker. We had a dive by Cash Wheeler that takes the Elite out at ringside and in the ring. Pac goes to the top rope to fly as he does like nobody else. Black Arrow on Matthew Jackson for the pin and the win. Your winners here by pinfall of this main event trios match is FTR, the Living Legends, and the Bastard, Pac. And after this, the Elite stopped the celebration for a total beatdown. It's not looking good for Pac and FTR now until Daniel Garcia comes out, makes the save. The Elite catch him, but this gives FTR and Pac a chance to recover as Pac locks in a standing Rings of Saturn on the Continental Champion, the Rainmaker, Okada, and the Bucks pull their friend out of there to save him from certain disaster, with the Elite regrouping on the stage as Collision fades to black. And that is going to end this episode of AEW Collision. Here is going to end our coverage, and it's the go home show for Dynasty. That's it, guys. It's going to be interesting to break that one down and see what happens. So let's just keep it rolling here on the Source Wrestling Podcast. And now it is time. I have been waiting for this moment. It is the AEW Dynasty coverage. AEW Dynasty 2024, 4/21/2024, with one of the most stacked cards that I've seen from an AEW pay-per-view live from St. Louis, Missouri, the Chi-Fets Arena, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Match number one, we start off with a title match. It is the AEW Continental Championship match. Champion Kazuchika Rainmaker Okada versus the Bastard, Pac. And to start this pay-per-view, okay? To start this match, these guys went out there and had a hell of a match. I think we finally saw from Okada the issue that Mike and I have been talking about for weeks. Where is the wrestling from this guy? Where is it? We saw it here at Dynasty. Okada did some really, really impressive stuff with Pac in this ring. These guys worked together. Absolutely. They spent all the money. We've been asking where the Rainmaker has been.
Yeah.
He showed up here at Dynasty. Pac had some
wrestlers will bring that out of other wrestlers.
Exactly, and I think Pac was the right matchup for the Rainmaker Okada here, and Pac had some really, really really close shining moments here where you thought that Okada's reign as Continental Champion was going to come to an end. Towards the end here, Pac jumps down and boots Okada on the face before heading back to the top rope, hits the Black Arrow, which would have for sure put Okada down for a 3 count, but Okada, smart man, gets the knees up, hits the Rainmaker. 1, 2, 3, your winner, and still AEW Continental Champion Kazuchika Rainmaker Okada. And hats off to Pac here, the Bastard. He just, come up just short after this match, and really, really good ovation from the crowd after this, and they set the tone for Dynasty with this match for sure. Match number 2 of the night, AEW Dynasty. We go to a trios match here. It is the House of Black versus Eddie Kingston, Mark Briscoe, and the Rated R superstar Adam Copeland. This match went hard, guys. It really did. Both teams looked really, really good, looked really strong. Brody King was a standout in this match. That dude is just unstoppable. No matter what you throw at him, he just keeps coming back. The whole crowd was behind Brody King, giving the woof woof chant type deal. And, you obviously you want this match to go to Copeland, Kingston, and Briscoe. It just did not pan out that way. Copeland, he was close, though. He wanted to hit that spear, all right? Malachi Black was like, nah. He hit him with the Black Mist, the Black Mass, the end, 1, 2, 3. Your winners of this match.
Malachi Black is something else.
He really is. WWE absolutely dropped the ball with him as Aleister Black.
No, I keep saying. It's like, basically, WWE's genius for sending him over and doing that because they develop.
Look what happened.
They're developing talent for the WWE now,
if you think
and
about
they don't even realize it.
Like with Jade, with
Jade.
They developed Cody as well.
Right?
Absolutely,
Cody popped after leaving.
Absolutely,
they got him back. Well, they got CM Punk, but I mean,
we all know what happened there, guys.
But, I mean,
we need a whole episode
for
that.
us. They're cooking them up for us.
They are.
If MJF comes over, then I'm just proving my point.
Absolutely.
That's it.
But that's another discussion for another episode, which you guys might hear soon. Winners of this match, though, clean, besides the Mist, of course. House of Black. Huge win for the House of Black right here, putting down the likes of Adam Copeland and Mad King Eddie Kingston and the ROH champion Mark Briscoe. Match number 3 of the night. It is the AEW TBS Championship match. It is champion Julia Hart, the Princess of the Black Throne, versus Willow Nightingale. And this was one of the very few things that upset me about the Dynasty pay-per-view, is that Willow wins the championship here tonight. Was not a fan of that. I know they probably want it to be Willow Nightingale versus Mercedes Moné for the TBS title so she can hold it a little bit and drop it to Mercedes to still make Julia Hart look good and strong and, not have her drop it to Moné. The winner of this match and new AEW TBS champion was Willow. Julia Hart put up a good fight. She's been a fighting champion. She's been great. She's really added some relevancy to that title, I would say, in the last few months after winning it, I think, at World's End, I believe it was. So shout out to Julia Hart. You will be back. It's time to rebuild. Your new TBS champion, though, Willow Nightingale. Match number 4 of the evening from AEW Dynasty, the inaugural Dynasty pay-per-view, which will be happening every year. It is the AEW International Championship with champion Roderick Strong of the Undisputed Kingdom versus Kyle O'Reilly. And this match was kind of old school to me. It was really cool. Lots of mat wrestling, submissions, really technical stuff. Brought me back to some old school TNA wrestling, I would say. Kyle O'Reilly is still new here in AEW. I'm not a huge fan of the character and the charisma, but the guy can wrestle. I will give him that. Roderick Strong just wanted it a little bit more. He hits a jumping knee, and the end of Heartache, his badass-looking finisher. If you guys never seen it, look up Roderick Strong, End of Heartache.
End of Heartache, kind of like
it's the Kill Switch Engage song. Yes, sir. The finisher is sick, and no one has kicked out of it yet. Your winner and still AEW International Champion is Roderick Strong, putting down Kyle O'Reilly. And match number 5 of AEW Dynasty, it is the FTW Championship match. Champion Hook, the cold-hearted handsome devil, versus Chris Jericho. And this is FTW rules. This is FTW rules. We're pulling for Hook in this one, man. And unfortunately, guys, Hook has lost the FTW championship. We are not happy about it. It was FTW rules, no DQ, anything goes. Chris Jericho was so upset that he could not physically beat Hook by wrestling that he just grabbed a baseball bat, hit him over the head with it, and knocked him out. During this match, it is very notable that Chris Jericho was taking on massive heat from the crowd, and not even like gimmick heat. These were please retire chants. Jericho sucks. They're just tired of him in this form, coming out as quote unquote Lionheart Chris Jericho. Obviously, he's not the Lionheart Chris Jericho in the days of old, and unfortunately, Jericho is becoming everything that he said he hated in WCW back in those days, and he does not need a championship right now. He does not.
He needs to chill. He needs to get Hook over.
Yes.
The only way I could see this working in my mind, the way that we would want it to go, is if Hook wins it right back.
Right.
Which
I'd
Hook
be cool
over,
with.
You know what I mean?
You got to put the kid over, especially, maybe they're punishing him right now because he wants to test free agency. Maybe there's that.
Yeah, there might be that. But here's the thing. If Hook isn't the FTW champion,
right, which is his
what
dad's
championship
title,
belt makes sense for him?
Yeah, if he's not the FTW champion, I don't think he's on the level of Kazuchika Okada's shot at the Continental title. I don't think he's on the level of the International Championship.
The FTW was perfect for him. It's kind of like out of Jericho's league to be the FTW
right,
champion.
I know, and at this point, he's just still collecting Infinity Stones. Like, dude, you've done enough. We get it. I love Chris Jericho. I did not love this ending of this match. I really didn't, and that's all I'm going to say about that, brother. Match number
Tony
6.
Khan, get it together.
Yeah, come on, Khan. Come on, don't listen. I know you're listening to Jericho. All right, stop listening to him. Match number 6 of the night is our AEW Women's World Championship match. Champion Timeless Toni Storm versus Thunder Rosa. And this match, guys, go back and watch it. Very, very good. Both of these female wrestlers, really, you could tell they play off each other well. They play off the crowd well. It's notable that Timeless Toni Storm came out with a brand new look during this match. She's like all powder white, from the face to the ring gear, different hairstyle. Toni Storm is looking straight out of like the 50s at this point and just looks so impressive. And it's also notable to mention that Thunder Rosa came out with no face paint on. None. So there was no chance of Toni Storm, revealing her face because she revealed it herself. Needless to say, guys, this match went hard. It went back and forth. It was a match of the level I think that could have been main event status. I really do. Maybe not on this pay-per-view, but another one. Storm Zero here in the middle of the ring, that big pile driver from Timeless Toni Storm, and she gets the 3 count. She wins this match. Your winner and still AEW Women's World Champion Timeless Toni Storm.
It's the right move.
It is the right move.
We all know that they're all setting it up for Mariah May and Toni Storm to end up battling it out.
Very interesting.
She's the number 4 competitor right now.
She is ranked number 4.
Toni Storm was asked about this and blew it off.
Yeah, she did.
It just seems like it's shaping up.
Like, oh, my Mariah, she would never.
Yeah, well, not even. Just like it's going to shape up to a scenario where she's underestimating.
When she's underestimating her,
Mariah May,
and the teacher might, the student might take out the teacher.
She's going to get caught off guard. Mariah May is going to take the title from Toni Storm.
I'd like to see that.
You heard it first here on The Source. That's my prediction. Lock it in. Book it.
Needless to say, very, very good women's championship match at AEW Dynasty. And now, guys, this match number 7 is the match of the night, of the year, in my opinion. Where do I begin? We'll start it like this. It's the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, versus the Aerial Assassin, Will Ospreay. And guys, if you did not watch this match, you missed out. This match had everything a wrestling fan could even dream about seeing. Big spot after big spot, every move and counter you could imagine, fight forever chance, just literally all gas, no brakes the entire time. Will Ospreay with a beautiful corkscrew backflip from the top ring post to outside of the ring. Bryan Danielson with the yes kicks all over Will Ospreay. And there was a time in this match where it looked like Will Ospreay was kind of taking it easy on Danielson because he idolizes him so much. Growing up, that was his guy. And they were mentioning that on commentary, that Will Ospreay kind of needed to, just take it up a notch, and he did. The two of these guys, the attempts made at pinfalls and the submissions, this and that, the bell lock was put on.
It was a banger.
It was
everybody's talking
absolutely
about it.
Unbelievable.
7-star match.
7-star match, the first one of its kind, I guess. And if I were to rate this match, I would have gave it 10 because I'm a wrestling mark, and this match just showed us cinema in the ring. The ending was what really set the tone for me. For Ospreay winning this thing. They were both in a respective corner of the ring, both up and on their feet, and just staring each other down and just locked into each other. And it's like they're just loading the clip, and they're both just gonna pull the trigger at the same exact time. At that point, the camera's getting very close to both of them, and both guys sprint to the middle of the ring like 3, 2, 1. They're both running at full speed into each other, and obviously Danielson's going for the knee, and the hidden blade connects first by Will Ospreay, hits that hidden blade, and he gets up kind of in shock that it actually worked. Needless to say, Ospreay does not waste any time. He then gets him up in the pump handle, hits the Tiger Driver 91, and here's where it gets a little weird, guys. Watching it back, you see the Tiger Driver 91 looks like it's taken perfectly by Bryan Danielson. He kind of landed a little high, but still flat back like a powerbomb bump, if you will. And after Ospreay connects with the Tiger Driver 91, the referee is calling for a doctor because Danielson is visibly hurt. Is what they're getting at. Danielson is kind of shaking and twitching in the ring, and Ospreay is so pumped that he just hit this Tiger Driver 91 on his idol. He does not see the referee calling for the doctor. So Ospreay turns around at the last second with another hidden blade to the back of Danielson's head, who's already injured, who just landed on his neck, is what they're selling us. 1, 2, 3, the winner of this match, and probably the greatest match of 2024, the Aerial Assassin, Will Ospreay.
The only thing that sucks about the match, the only thing, is that you knew who was going to win.
Oh, yeah, of course.
They're not going to have Ospreay win this year at all.
You mean Danielson? Yes. They're not going to have...
No, they're not going to have Ospreay win. I mean, lose. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah. No, they're not having him lose at all. He's still undefeated.
He'll stay that way for a while.
The asterisk, if you will, on this match was Bryan Danielson's injury spot after the Tiger Driver 91, where Will Ospreay did not see the referee calling for the doctor, and he just clocked him with a hidden blade full speed to get the win. And it's notable to state that after this match, Will Ospreay was interviewed at the media scrum after the entire event has finished, and he said he's actually retiring the Tiger Driver 91, the Storm Driver 91. He's not doing it again.
Wow.
Yeah, he's done with it. If you watch the match and see the move, you can see how it's very dangerous to do. And all Ospreay wants to do, he says, is just take care of his opponents. Better yet, especially, Bryan Danielson, rather. I'm all shook up, brother. This match got me going. So no more Storm/Tiger Driver 91 out of Will Ospreay, but your winner of this match is the Aerial Assassin, Will Ospreay. And that brings us, guys, to the second to last match of the night. Match number 8, the AEW World Tag Team Championship Tournament Final Ladder Match. It is the EVPs, the Young Bucks, Matt and Nicholas Jackson, versus the Living Legends, the Top Guys, FTR, Dax, and Cash. Let's get into it. It's the Tag Team Tournament Finals, and after this entire tournament, it leads us to this match with the Top Guys, who are former Tag Team Champions of AEW. Also, the Young Bucks are former two-time Tag Team Champions in AEW, and it's a ladder match, guys. We got what we paid for. We got blood. We got ladders. We got tables. We got it all, and we also got something.
Ladders, and chairs.
Oh, my. We also got something that we weren't expecting. expecting to get.
Ooh.
Okay, so during this match, Dax looks like he's got the match won for the top guys. FTR's Dax Harwood is climbing the ladder. Nobody else is in sight. You're like, okay, cool. We're getting another FTR title run out of nowhere. Somebody in a hooded sweater and a devil mask comes into the ring, pushes the ladder over. Security runs in. It's this big thing. Commentary's like, it's a fan.
They unmask him in the corner.
They unmask him in the corner, and it's none other than the scapegoat himself, Jack Perry, who got a hell of a reaction. He's riding the CM Punk high like crazy. The whole Crimea River
this
thing.
Is a thing to ride. He
I
looked
know.
terrible.
I know. I don't understand it either. You got choked out. You got choked out by CM Punk. You wanted to be a little kid and
Why
use
are
real
people excited about this guy?
He's just over right now because of CM Punk. That's all it is. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Jack Perry comes out, costs our favorite team in AEW the championships, and makes the EVPs, the Young Bucks,
frustrating.
3 times
Tony Khan,
tag team
do
champion.
Do better,
TK. Come on. But the next match, I think Tony Khan kind of redeems himself here. It is the main event of AEW Dynasty. It is the AEW World Heavyweight Championship match. Champion Samoa Joe versus Swerve Strickland. And whose house? Swerve's house. And it was really cool, and I have to talk about it.
We're rooting for Swerve.
We're rooting for Swerve here. We are, big time.
I think Samoa Joe's run has been very dry,
It's
bland,
been lackluster.
and tasteless.
Yes, it has.
Honestly, I'm over
and
it.
for him to have taken the title off of our wrestling god, Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
Give him the TNT title, that's believable.
That's much better.
He's not a world champion, in my opinion.
There's a reason why WWE...
Swerve, on the other hand...
Oh, big time. There's a reason... Well, I was going to say, there's a reason why WWE had this man, Samoa Joe, calling a WrestleMania outside of the stadium in the rain wearing a poncho. Anywho, Swerve Strickland comes out in a Black Panther costume, which I thought was absolutely sick. He's got the claws, he's got the mask, and, there's a chance he could become the first African-American AEW World Champion here. So he's bringing out the culture with this Black Panther superhero character type getup, and the match begins, and a match it was. Joe did not come to talk. He did not come to play. He did go out there and make it tough, to even get any little bit of offense onto him, but Swerve Strickland just persevered. He kept it going. We had a house call. We had multiple Swerve stomps. We had it all. And at the end, it took a not a house call. It took a Swerve stomp, a final Swerve stomp from the top rope straight into the heart of the AEW World Champion Samoa Joe for a surprising 1, 2, 3. You're a winner and new AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Whose house? Swerve's house.
What a great choice.
Unbelievable.
I'm glad that Tony Khan got a couple things right on this pay-per-view.
He did.
From what I've heard, I haven't seen all of it, but, I think it had its good points. And
it had its high points. It had its lows. But
I'd give it like a 6.5 personally. What would you rate it?
The
whole thing together.
The whole thing together as a collective. I'm gonna go 8.5 out of 10 just because I've never seen a match quite like Ospreay and Danielson. That match blew me away. I've probably watched it 4 or 5 times now, and solid 8.5 out of 10. Plus, we had a new world champion. It's Swerve's house, and he's already been presented with a brandy new title with the Who's House side plates.
FTR losing brings
that
it down
was a
a
bummer.
point.
Hook losing was a bummer.
Losing brings it down a point.
I agree.
And also, Julia Hart losing brings it down a point.
That
That's
also
at
got
least
me
7 there. So I'm saying 6.5.
No, I think you're solid.
Yeah.
But as a big wrestling fan, the good stuff that we saw out of AEW tonight on Dynasty, that
just,
was
in my opinion, need
really
to get
great.
it together start to finish.
Right.
They have some really amazing moments.
They
Some of their
really
moments
do.
are better in wrestle moments than WE moments.
I agree.
But the show as a whole,
yes,
Right?
Exactly.
When we
As
play
a
My
collective.
GM mode on WWE 2K24,
Yes.
you want to make sure that it starts off strong, it carries, it ends
And you
well.
end strong.
Like that's
Right,
what Tony
exactly.
Khan needs to get into his head a little bit.
Exactly. That Ospreay and Danielson match, I will say, if I were Swerve and Samoa Joe, I liked the way they did this match. It wasn't too long. They knew they couldn't really top what just happened in the ring for almost an hour. You know what I mean? The end happened fast and out of nowhere with the Swerve stomp. 1, 2, 3. Your winner is Swerve. The confetti pops, the pyro pops. Swerve goes out into the crowd, celebrates with his family, the fans, you name it. The first,
he deserves it.
He absolutely does deserve it. The first African-American AEW world champion. It is now a new era in Swerve's house. And that's going to do it, guys. That is going to end our episode. And what a pay-per-view AEW Dynasty. What a Smackdown. What a Collision. What a Rampage. What a time to be a wrestling fan. But before we go, wrestling fans, we're going to give you a little bit of On This Day in Wrestling History.
And on this day in wrestling history, we have our notable wrestling birthdays.
Here we go.
Not too familiar with them, so we're going to give a history lesson here.
Let's go.
Yuji Nagata, born in 1968, a Japanese wrestler and former mixed martial artist, a amateur wrestler currently signed to New Japan Pro Wrestling, considered
Nice.
one of the greatest Japanese wrestlers of all time. He is the 5th longest reigning IWGP Heavyweight Champion.
Interesting.
With a reign of 392 days.
Wow, and now that championship is being held by none other than Jon Moxley.
Yep. The next one up would be the Blue Demon, born in 1922, better known by the ring name Blue Demon, real name Alejandro Munoz Moreno.
Rest in peace, I assume.
A Mexican film actor and luchador enmascarado.
Okay, yeah, that's a first for
Yeah,
me.
it's a Spanish for masked professional wrestler.
Ah, okay.
Blue Demon is considered a legend of lucha libre, partially from starring in a series of lucha films between 1961 and 1979, often alongside in-ring rival El Santo. His in-ring career began in 1948.
Wow.
And stretched 41 long years until his retirement in 1989.
That's incredible.
Pretty cool. And the last birthday of the night would be Lou Thez.
Lou Thez, I can tell you a little bit about Lou Thez.
1916, American professional wrestler.
1916.
Considered to be the best.
Of that era.
No,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Considered to be one of the last true shooters.
Okay.
Legitimate wrestlers in professional
He
wrestling.
was a shoot guy. That was the thing. You got in the ring with him with Lou Thez, you were going to get hurt, and you can even see now in the later generations how wrestlers have taken stuff from him. Stone Cold Steve Austin used the Lou Thez press as one of his signature moves, and it got over very well. Everyone loved it. You know,
he's
shout out
widely
Lou
regarded
Thez.
as one of the greatest wrestlers and wrestling world champions in history.
Yeah, and that is going to be our notable wrestling birthdays today on 4/24/24. And on this day in wrestling history, 4/24, 1983, 5 days after defeating Nick Bockwinkel to win the AWA World Heavyweight Championship, our brother Hulk Hogan is stripped of the title as a result of his use of an illegal object to get the win here on this day in wrestling history.
And on this day in wrestling history in 1989, Big Van Vader,
Oh,
who is
the
still
Rocky
going
Mountain
by the
Monster.
name of Big Van Vader, defeated Shinya Hashimoto to win the IWGP World Heavyweight title in NJPW.
Let's go, New Japan Pro.
Superpower Clash in the Tokyo Dome in Japan. On the same show, Jushin Thunder Liger makes his NJPW debut.
And he ended up being a staple in New Japan for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And on this day in wrestling history, 1994, at a WCW Saturday night taping in Atlanta, Georgia, Ric Flair defeated Ricky the Dragon Steamboat to win the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. The title had previously been upheld after a double pin in a match between the two of these guys guys at Spring Stampede. So that happened on this day in 1994 in wrestling history.
And on this day in wrestling history in 1995, Diesel retained the WWF Championship against none other than Bam Bigelow on a live edition of Monday Night Raw from Omaha, Nebraska. They were still WWF at the time.
Yes.
Afterwards, Bigelow was fired from the $1 Million Corporation, which prompted final face run in the company for
Bam Bam on this day in wrestling history. The year 2000, DDP Diamond Dallas Page defeated Jeff Jarrett for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship in a steel cage match on an episode of WCW Monday Nitro in Rochester, New York.
And on this day in wrestling history in 2001, at a WWF Smackdown taping in Denver, Colorado, none other than Matt Hardy.
Oh boy.
The Broken One.
Yes.
Defeated Eddie Guerrero for the WWE, I say, but it would actually be the WWF European title.
And I miss that title so much. It would be really cool to get that title again, even if it's like the women's European title, something. Really was a fan of that lower mid-card championship. And that's going to end it, guys. It's been a great episode. We appreciate you guys rolling with us, and just keep listening. The Source Wrestling Podcast is available on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. Follow us on X, on TikTok, on everything. We are there, brother. The 24-inch pythons are there, brother. Once again, you are rocking with The Source, WWE, AEW, All Things Wrestling Podcast, and that's the bottom line because Joe and Mike said so with Joe
and
Mike. Yeah.
Yeah.
Until we eat again.
Let us talk to you.